family, they started preparing a porridge for the little boy. And while the porridge was still on the stove, now the man, which his name is Angala, he had a second knock on the door, and he hurriedly went out, opened the door, and behold was this two men who doesn't really look good. Hello, this is my first month just passed of me creating content on the social network, and I must say I'm happy with all the feedbacks and all the encouragements and people who has already subscribed and followed my page. If you've not, please do, because I try to link my YouTube channel to the end of the story somewhere. You will see, just subscribe and support. And I actually try to bring up stories, like true stories that happened around the world, which are kind of mysterious. I bring it in a story format. So if you like content like this, always come here, you'll find it. I try to upload every week, and just have fun with it and learn from it as well. Very important. So today is about a pastor. I realize that a lot of people go to the church and they kind of follow the pastor sheepishly. Remember, I don't try to judge. I leave it for you guys to judge. But it's something I noticed, people are becoming very, very angry with some pastors, and they try to blame pastors for their problems, and people are trying to leave the Christianity and do something different. But here is the deal. If you buy, let's say you have the regular cars and suddenly you bought a Tesla, for example, and you've never driven one before, the right thing would be to read the manual before you try to move. But the point is, a lot of people who call themselves Christians don't even know how to read the Bible. They don't read the Bible. So when things happen, who do you blame? Do you blame the pastors, or do you blame yourself for not doing the right thing? So this story would bring you to a situation where you kind of think and know what really happened here. Who are we supposed to blame? Now let's just jump right into the story. Far away in Africa, Kenya to be precise, a lady named Sydney came back after a hard day's work, and he relaxed in his living room, and he turned on the TV, and it was the news channel. Behold, he saw his brother making the news alongside some other men. But he knew his brother is not a celebrity, no one knows him. So she was very, very confused. So she called the family members to confirm if they're seeing what she's seen. And they all confirmed, yeah, it's his brother. On the other side of Kenya, called the Kilifi County, was this very poor man who moved from a kind of a city-like area to a country place in Makafi County. It's a place called Shakahola. So he moved over there, and his plans was to build a house for his small family. He made the house out of clay, bamboo sticks and raffias. So it was just a small house, a very poor home. So where he situated the house was just pretty much a country area, and you can hardly find houses around there. It was more of green life, but there's a tarred road that demarcates his house from another place called Shakahola. So he can actually see this forest or bushy area called Shakahola from his home. So one day this man decided to sit out after a hard day's work. He was outside on a sunny day. It was very hot. While he was sitting, he noticed three men walking out of the Shakahola kind of forest, and they walked out and crossed the tarred road and walked towards him. And they approached him, and they had Bibles, and they started preaching to him. He was very receptive. He listened to them, and he actually enjoyed it. But he noticed something about these three men. They were very, very emaciated. They looked like they've not had food in days. But he didn't make anything out of it, because he felt like they may be fasting or something. So after preaching, they went back to where they came from. That was when he realized that if these people came out from this place and they're going back there, they probably live there. So this happened several times, and then one day he felt like he is now friends with these people, and he opted to go visit them. So when he made that statement, because he wanted to go see their house and know where they live, he was excited he had visitors around him. But they said no, they don't want no visitors. Now, he didn't like this. He was like, how do I have you as friends and you wouldn't want me to visit you, but you pay me visits? So he decided to stay away from them, because there might be something that they are hiding that they wouldn't like him to know about. Of course, he went about his business and never worried about those people. From time to time, you see them walking by, and it looks like there is a stream down there. People go there and, fetch water and go back. But one day he was sleeping at night, and before the bright of the day, he heard a knock on the door. He quickly woke up and opened the door. When he opened the door, he was looking up to see like a man or a woman, an adult, but he didn't see anybody. When he looked down, he saw this very young boy who should be about 7 or 6 years old. He was very surprised to see this young boy who looked very terrified, and the boy looked very, very weak, hungry, and he lost so much weight. He looks very emaciated, like he looks like a bag of bones. So quickly he looked around, he didn't see anybody, and then he decided to bring this boy into the house first before questioning this young boy, like, where did you come from? So the boy didn't say anything, but the boy was looking at the water, a cup of water on the table, and the boy pointed at a cup of water. So he, immediately knew that this boy needs a drink of water, which is not a problem. He gave the boy a drink, and the boy drank, like gulped it in like he never drank water like in a week. So that was when the little boy said he came from the Shakahola. Remember, Shakahola was the same place this street man was coming from, and that he wouldn't like to go back there again. So the man took the initiative of making a porridge for this young boy who he already knows that this boy is very, very hungry. Immediately he told his family, they started preparing a porridge for the little boy. And while the porridge was still on the stove, now the man, which his name is Angala, he had a second knock on the door, and he hurriedly went out, opened the door, and behold was this two men who doesn't really look good. They say they were looking for a young boy who was mentally deranged, and he asked them to come in and asked if the boy was the boy they were looking for. Immediately the boy saw this man, he started crying like profusely, and then they say that this is the boy they're looking for, and one of the men owned up to be the boy's father, and the boy actually agreed that this is his father and they have to take him back to where they came from. So the man Angala told them, like, can I give this boy the porridge I already made for him? They said no, they can't wait for the porridge, they have to go back to where they came from. And Angala had no option but to let them take this boy away. He didn't like it, but there was nothing he could do. So while they were drawing this boy out, the boy was crying, but couldn't struggle a lot to pull out from this man, but they took him. Angala watched them as they went out and crossed the tarred road and made their way into the Shakahola forest, and that was it. One day Angala was still at home, and a man walked over from the Shakahola forest towards Angala. This man looked very worried as well. So the man told Angala what he didn't know before. He told Angala that there's this pastor named McKenzie. McKenzie was a very, very popular pastor. He actually owns like branches in Kenya, a lot of them. So he was very, very popular. That was when Angala knew, based on what the man was telling him, that Pastor McKenzie opened up like a new world down there in the Shakahola forest. But the man said that he is worried that something bad might happen there. So he said he wants to leave. But here is the problem. The man said that he does not have any money with him, and he actually wants to transport himself out of the place. So Angala opted to give him his phone to make a call to family so they can send money over, which he did. He called his family and they sent money, and the man left immediately. While all those things were happening, Angala also noticed that there used to be a traffic of people coming from that forest through his house to a stream to fetch water, and they head also back to the Shakahola forest. But at some point he noticed that the traffic started reducing to a point where no one else passed through that place, and he didn't see anybody coming out or heading back there. It was like maybe they moved or something. But he didn't want to go in there to check on what is happening, so he went about his business. In April 2023, Angala said the traffic reduced to zero, like no one was passing by again. Then one day, after a few months, he noticed a car. This is a very remote area. Usually you don't see cars coming there. One day he saw a car driving in, and next was the second one, parked very close to the forest, and then the third one. And then when he got startled when he saw an ambulance, and then he saw the police car, and suddenly it was like a lot of cars and people were there. He didn't understand what was going on. He was very curious, but he was scared, he couldn't go close. And then suddenly he started seeing people pulling body bags out of the forest and putting them in the ambulance. That was when he knew that he should have called the cops earlier before now. If you like true stories like this, please hit the notification bell, subscribe, and like our channel. Most appreciated. So back to the lady that was watching the TV when he saw her brother on the TV. She realized that his brother was involved with this pastor named McKenzie, who made his brother like an associate pastor. Now McKenzie was a pastor who started up like with a good gospel, and suddenly he started having like branches all over Kenya. And at some point he decided to close up those branches and buy this vast land in Shakahola forest and open up a new world. He advised his followers to sell off all they had and move with him to this forest because they're about to like create a different world. He also told them like to desist from medical help, going to school, receiving educations, and things like that. He told them to stop it because it is of the devil. And some or most of his congregation accepted and also did what he told them to do, and they all moved over there. And he named those places like the forest different names in the Bible, like Galilee, Jordan, and Jerusalem, Bethlehem, things like that in there. And this was the people that were moving back and forth from the forest that Mr. Angala was seeing, but never knew what was going on. The pastor went as far as advising the congregation to stop eating like fast until they die. That way they are gonna meet God. So those people actually obliged. And before the authority could get to this place, people already started dying. And they discovered shallow graves, mass graves containing about 5 or 6 people there. And when they started pulling out this body bag, the bodies that were pulled out were about 300 people already dead. The ones that are still alive are like almost dying. And that young boy was not seen no more. Angala didn't see the boy, and he started feeling so bad that he wished he called the police earlier. Now this will make you wonder, should we just sit down and listen to people in the pulpit you don't understand if they really have like a good mentation to tell you what to do? Or are you supposed to read the manual and understand the right thing to do? Now, Pastor McKenzie claims that he is innocent, but what really happened, you be the judge at the end of the day.